guys, welcome to my channel. I used to be on YouTube and I wanted it so badly and I just wasn't mentally ready, and now that I've done, I've fallen into my alignment so much more, I'm so ready to share with you guys. So let's get started. Okay, so I think that this is going to be such an amazing time to do some introspective work with ourselves as we are forced into, not forced, but you know what I mean, do more times of isolation and solitude and reflection. And over the past couple of years, like I was saying before, I have been a massive sponge in the realm of self-development and self-care. My personal journey, I'll just give you guys some background because some of you might not know me in the same way that others do. So I grew up in a Christian background and was very, very heavily involved in that for a really long time. And then over the past couple of years, I've been challenging my belief system and deconstructing and reconstructing and looking at different self-care and self-development habits and if they were really benefiting my life or not. And I've just been silent. It has been a massive season for me to just keep my mouth shut. But in this time, I have discovered so many amazing tools and beliefs and values that I just had never considered before. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my eyebrows. I actually got them, laminated about 2 months ago. So this is how I style them really quick. I just brush them up and I gel them and I add some pomade or whatever I'm gonna be using. This is just a shadow by Bobbi Brown. So anyway, I have been a sponge and I'm ready to share. I did create that video a month or so ago, and it was self-care tips for when you're feeling down. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about it, and I think it's very relevant to now, but there are certain things I had to cut out that I just want to share. When you are going through a hard time with self-care or knowing what you need, or when you're triggered, we all have different coping mechanisms that we go to. And it was very important for me and my personal philosophy to start from the ground up. So I personally look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and whenever I'm feeling really triggered and I go into overproductivity or whatever coping mechanism I have, I become aware of that, and then I pull out and I look at the baseline of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is food, water, shelter, and sex, right? So you're looking at the most primitive things, and I kind of look at each category in my life and I think to myself, what am I doing right now? I'm triggered, I'm not in the best emotional place. And usually what I'll find is if I'm really, really triggered with something, then my diet starts to really suffer. And so part of that video, I cooked a plant, not plant-based, but it was around vegetables. And I was okay, so how can I make something that was a comfort food to me, because right now I'm triggered, but also how can it be more nutritious and holistic and good for my body? So I made a spaghetti pasta based on vegetables. And just these little things, you honestly, changing your emotions, if you are emotionally triggered in the way that I am, it all comes down to little tiny practices that you have to change. So instead of ordering that pizza, you're gonna spend time with yourself cooking, and you're gonna spend time cooking something healthy, but it can be something comforting too. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I have all these little tiny things. What else? It's important to keep your space clean because of energy and aura and how it affects you. And so at this time, we have a lot of time to reflect on, and we have a lot of triggers that are pulling in, and I just want to encourage you guys to all start at the very basic level, okay? Another thing that has been really helpful for me during this time has been identifying triggers and just becoming self-aware. And I know a lot of people tell me a lot of people tell me, Jill, you're so self-aware. And they'll be you're so self-aware, and that's so inspiring because I don't even want to be self-aware because it's just too much. And I think that's really, really fascinating because growth is on the opposite side of self-awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. And so because of that, I think I just got foundation in my hair. Because of that, your greatest tool is understanding yourself. And we are very complex people. People are very complex, right? we are very predictable, but we are also very, very complex. And so if you can start to find a tool that will help you identify some of your blind spots for you, because you cannot see those on your own, this will be a massive catalyst in you claiming your own power over yourself and over your own limbic brain, I think. Though maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not just so you guys know, I am not a psychologist. I am not a doctor. This is all because of my own personal journey. So just a disclaimer, if you really need help, I obviously want to steer you towards a professional, but just coming from my own personal experience. Yeah, so we have all these blind spots, and there are certain tools out there that will help you see your blind spots, and you will be so humbled when you start to do this work. I love typology systems, and I know people have things with typology systems, but I definitely will be sharing in the future, because if you can start to see it not as a way of labeling yourself, but as a way as like as a tool for showing you the parts of yourself that you cannot see, you will just go so much faster in rising to your self-worth. And that's like my next point is like, why the biggest question here is like, why do we do work anyway? Like, what's the point? Like, my life has always been going in this one direction. I have tried to change. Things have not changed. My circumstances not changed. My family has not changed. So what even matters? Like, why? Like, a lot of people are like, they're just like, why do we even have a need for self-development? Why do we need to change? Like, aren't I perfect the way that I am? And I just want to say, like, you were born obviously with very, like, you were given everything you need to be successful in this world, but our biggest battle is reprogramming concepts either from society or family, or like even through our own personal like understanding of our own minds. We have to reprogram those so that we can rise to our biggest self-worth. And self-worth is really like the number one thing that will change your life. If we are always like, we don't want to get there. Like, I think Abraham Maslow too, he said that people are, we are all designed to pursue and like organically go towards becoming the highest versions of ourselves. And so that's amazing, but we do need help. We can't just always do this on our own. We have very specific patterns. We are biological in nature, and we have these animalistic patterns of like what we do and what makes sense, and it's predictable. And so we have to like reprogram those things in order for you to rise to your self-worth. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I might just say stuff that like maybe won't like be very linear, but I just want you guys to know that my core value has changed, and it is no longer like I was born perfect and I've been perfectly made. I do believe that, but it's now I am running towards my highest self-worth. And what does that look like? And it's a growth mindset. It's not like I already was given everything and now that's it. Okay, so I just put on some foundation, and I didn't even gel my eyebrows yet. This is how this is gonna go. This is Morphe. I went to the States, I went to Portland, and Morphe has all their stuff, and it's amazing. But yeah, so over the course of the next couple of videos, I want to dive in on more specific topics. So if you guys have one in mind, just let me know. I'll be doing typology and boundaries, toxic relationships, attachment theory, and how to find your personal power. And this has been such a big thing for me this year, has been finding my personal power. The power of saying no has been really, really big. And yeah, okay, so next I'm going to be doing just some blush. This is Hourglass, and I just like put all the colors on, okay? Oh, I usually put concealer on my face, but I can't find my concealer, and that's too bad. So, fuck it, right? Yeah, so we can talk a little bit more about triggers quickly. In this time of COVID, okay, by the way, I have this cough. I am not sick, it's a wet cough. I've had a literal cold, and it's not COVID, so don't be concerned. I would know by now, I don't have COVID. But yeah, so triggers. So in this time of COVID-19, COVID-19? I was like, COVID 2020? Got very, confused for a second. Yeah. So basically during this time, we are going to be in a massive, even more heightened version of a survival mode, and you will start to see everyone's triggers come to the forefront. I don't think There are many people that will go through this without a significant trigger, and we need to pay attention to what those are, because they are telling us our biggest fears, and like everything, growth is on the opposite side of fear, so we need to like identify what those are. So I would highly recommend keeping a note in your phone about whatever triggers you, or where you're numbing, or where you are, I don't even know, where do you go? Like, where do you go to during this time where we have so much time and space to be with ourselves? I'm definitely not perfect. There's been many days so far that I have had a really hard time waking up in the morning. I have binged a couple series on Netflix already, and there's nothing wrong with that inherently, but it's just kind of looking as to see like, well, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I also wanted to say that you don't have to do anything. Like, this is obviously a lot of time, and it can be a gift, but you also, if what your body needs and what your nervous system needs is just to chill, you have to follow that. You have to pay attention into your intuition, and just be aware that like our bodies are telling us what we need. Our bodies always know, like even before our brains know, because we've been so societally programmed on like a brain level that there are many times where your body is actually just telling you exactly what you need. So if you need sleep, you just pay attention to that. Or if you're feeling cranky one day, this has been a big thing for me. I can also talk to you guys about what I've been doing personally for myself. If your body's feeling cranky and you feel kind of sluggish and like stuck, have you been outside? Do you guys know that light coming from your window is a diffused version of UV spectrum? So when you're like, yeah, I had natural light today, have you actually been outside? Because what we're getting right now with light coming through, that's not natural light. And I heard someone, not to scare you guys, not to scare you guys, but staying inside isolated all day is the equivalent of smoking a pack a day. So we are at this time where we actually have a duty and a responsibility to keep each other safe by not interacting with other people, but you also have a duty to yourself to go for a small walk. And if there's one rule that I've given myself during this time, this is the only thing I tell myself to do. It is that I have to go outside once a day, no matter what the weather is. I mean, obviously, if it's minus 30 degrees Celsius, I'm not going to be going outside. It's like a bit flurry-ish today, but I'm still going to make an effort, because your body feels it. A couple days ago, I was getting up and I was having a really hard time waking up in the morning, and I just I was really triggered. I have a lot of personal triggers about relationships, and I'm a very relational person. So being told that I can't hang out with my friends or like see the people that I want to see at this time is emotionally draining for me. But I woke up this one morning and I forced myself outside, and as soon as I got outside, my whole aura and energy manifestly changed. Manifestly, is that a word? It changed, and I felt amazing. Every time I've stepped outside, I have felt incredible. And so I try and do that. I try and just get outside for even 1 minute a day if I need to. Okay, I'm just going to try and curl my lashes now. So yeah, I would encourage you guys to do that, but you know what, there's no right answer right now. We need to become more self-aware right now. This is your mission, is to walk towards your higher self, becoming more self-aware and sitting with yourself, identifying what are your tendencies, who do you go towards when you are sad, what do you do when you don't want to be with yourself, sitting with it and just understanding that this is just a season of time. This will not last. This is an amazing time to understand yourself and to get to know and to work on yourself, but to pay attention, learn, what does your body need? What do you need? What does your spirit need? Do you need to go to church? Do you not need to go to church? Do you need to, and online church obviously, but do you need to, write out a list of relationships that you need to reach out to? Are you waiting around for people to reach out to you? What do you need? You do not have to, this is the wrong way. Do you need to be sending an apology note? Do you need to send a thank you note to someone, or an encouraging note? All of this it's easier to talk about than it is to do. And so if you are struggling right now with being alone, I'm single, I'm alone, I understand what that feels like, I understand how heavy that can be, but why? Going deep into yourself and thinking about, I don't wear eyeliner because I am really bad at it. But yeah, going deep within yourself and asking yourself the tough questions. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be not single right now, but there's something beautiful about being able to learn how to sit with yourself and how to breathe and how to like wake up in the morning and develop your routine and be at peace. And that's really hard. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that everybody has it. There's a lot of work that has to be done. We have to do a lot of reprogramming. So you guys might be asking, like, how do I even start? And there's a lot of amazing people out there who have gone ahead of you and started to do this work on their own. Okay, we're gonna do some highlighter because this is fun. This is like my favorite part. I'm using this as the champagne pop, I think. Champagne pop. I just think of Drake whenever I use this. But I smashed it, so it just crumbles everywhere. There's a lot of, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing this, but you know what, you're gonna find out what works for you. There's also a lot of people who've gone ahead and have paved out amazing workshops or webinars or like podcasts or anything like that, that have a set of work that is really challenging and it can be really draining, but it's really, really, really good for your soul. And it's through this kind of really hard look at yourself that we start to identify what needs to be reprogrammed, and we can start that process. So yeah, just so you know, I'm on an Accutane, so I don't wear lipstick because my lips cannot handle it. But okay, I'm back. So I was just gonna say, I don't wear lipstick, I don't wear lip liner or like any gloss anymore at this point because I am on Accutane. I do want to do a video about my experience with that drug, but my lips have like suffered the most from it. So I use this lip mask by Laneige. You can't see it because I'm putting it on my lips. This one, it's in berry. I use this every day, all day, every night for the past year, and it's amazing. It's so good. It's like better than Aquaphor, to me at least. So usually I just put some of that on, and then there's like other Laneige products that are really good for lips, but this is kind of what I stick with. So anyway guys, I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. It was a lot of like spurts of like, this is what you could do, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, don't do anything. But I know that we are all in this together, and I do want to cover more topics specifically. This is really exciting to me. Yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are, and we can continue the process from there. So I will see you guys in the next video, and have a nice day. Bye.